she's given us.
Oh,
So
a whole nother training. Okay, I'm here. Hold on.
it's not a whole nother
I'm here
training.
for this. I'm ready.
It's the joy of having all the insider tips from Edalis herself, who's just like a lovely, lovely human. I think I was telling Jessie the other day that I don't know if I would love her this much as a trainer if I wasn't having so much interaction with her, but she is so compassionate and caring and just such a good human being. And she's commenting on all of the things and like completely tangent, and I'll get back on track in a minute, but like one of the girls in the group got married, and she actually like in Instagram DM'd her a little voice message, like an actual message recording, wishing her happy birthday, congratulations. Someone else said that they, you know, were dropping out of round 2 because they were pregnant and had miscarried just before round 1, and she was like, oh my god, that's so wonderful, take care of yourself. All like, she's just so in it for all of us, and she's amazing. So there's that. But we have weekly calls with her, not necessarily calls, but we do have weekly lives on Facebook where she's answering any and every Q&A. So in terms of people asking what they can do to prep it, the run that's on there, do that audio sample like 2 times a week leading up to it. So this way it's some sort of prep run. Jessie and I had this, hey, yeah, Jessie. Jessie and I had this conversation. For those of you who are not elementary teachers, that's the making a connection sign.
Thank you.
You know? Yeah. So Jessie and I were talking that like, when you're talking to your challengers too, run is whatever it means to you. Like, if the best you can do on the run and pushing yourself is a slow jog, then slow jog it out. There are so many coaches in the, there's coaches of all sizes, first of all ages, all shapes, and all sizes in our group. And there are so many coaches who were absolutely like, oh God, I hate running. Why would I do that? And they've fallen in love with it because it's such a mental program and a mental transformation. If people are getting to be a little whiny about that, I don't want to run in the cold, which isn't necessarily a whiny thing, because we have a lot of Canadian coaches that are like, this program's launching in October and how am I going to? You can use the audio samples, but on an elliptical or on a bike, because the entire thing is based off of your RPE, your I don't know, I just lost the word, rate of perceived exertion. I was like, and so whether it's you're on a spin bike and you're going at a 4, an easy 4 is an easy 4, whether you're walking, you're running, you're jogging, you're on an elliptical, you're on a bike, you know what it means to push yourself to a 9 and close to your max. So you can use the audio because there is going to be that tracking timer like you've seen on here. She does suggest, if you have access to a treadmill, try the treadmill workout as well as the outside one. If you haven't done the sample yet, the sample looks like it's a 35-minute thing and a 16-minute thing. It's not. The 35-minute is the entire indoor component. So it's a 20-minute indoor lifting plus a 15-minute indoor treadmill run, or it's the 20-minute indoor lifting plus your 16-minute outdoor run. So it's not, in the sample, it's not 35 and 16. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about the calendars. They didn't, I don't know what they've said in the FAQs about calendars yet, but there are 3 different calendars for very beginners, for your intermediate, giving it and dabble, for your advanced people. And the calendars will run with you working out anywhere from 30 minutes a day to possibly upwards of 50 minutes a day. There is nothing wrong with splitting the workouts and doing your lifting when you can get your lifting in and then going for your run later. She does suggest lifting then running on almost every single day. The only days she said that it's okay to flip-flop is if you are doing your core day or your upper body day, you can run and then lift. Otherwise, you're keeping it strictly lifting then running. Interesting fact, I don't know if I've shared this before, but she has said, and I think that was one thing that helped me get into these workouts and get past the workouts, is she was very, very anti the home workout. With the home workout craze, if you will, people are so amped on, I need to get it done in this amount of time. It needs to be this short and this long. So you find most of your trainers cut your warm-ups and your cool downs because of all of the stuff that you're doing with your hips and your joints. And Ashley, as you're talking about sitting in your hips, she has such amazing hip flexor stretches in every single day. This is the first time since I've had Mila, so it's been 2 years. My entire running in August was the entire first month in the last 2 years that I haven't had hip issues after my runs at all. And I was pushing myself harder than even when we go for family walks. So she went against the home workout thing where most of your trainers do a 1 to 2 minute warm up and then a 1 to 2 minute cool down, because she said it's not enough for your body. So it's almost a 5 minute warm up and about a 5 minute cool down. So at least for me, and I know Caitlin, this is your vote too, of I can do 35 minutes if I know it's really only 25 minutes because it's 10 minutes of warming up and cooling down. The cool downs, I am obsessed with her stretching. She has so much amazing stretching for hips, and it's been fantastic. And the rest and roll. So if you've got people that are starting to be interested, touch base and make sure they have foam rollers, because that's the one thing that they're not gonna get in the big completion packets. Because I know when you can do the big packs, you can get it with the resistance bands, but your foam roller, and you do so need the foam roller, and you can feel it when you need it. But those are my things that I had thought of that I wanted to share, was the fact that you can do it on an elliptical or on a bike, and if you need to walk. And she actually, in a lot of the running things, talks about, you know, if you're beginner, you're walking this break. If you're a little more advanced, try and jog it. And she also does a lot of talking through your running while you're listening. She's like, your 6 today may not have been your 6 yesterday, and that's okay. So it's just so good for the mind. It was an amazing program. Go on.
I have a question. So, well, I guess I want to clarify, right? Like, so Sherry's been a runner, and even though she's been a runner before, you know, it was kind of her re-entry into running. So for people who are already runners, could we argue that this is going to just improve their stamina, improve their, like, kind of that beat your best kind of thing? Like they can focus. Okay.
We have some people in the group who, like, because your runners are running with your Garmin, so they have more accurate and better tracking stuff. We've got some guys who are doing their HIIT workouts and showing that, like, before in round 1, they were doing, you know, their HIIT fast intervals were like 550s or something like that. And they're doing like 4 somethings for their fast little intervals. So with your runners, it's all about improving your stamina and your time. And then, there's so much strengthening and all the other things too.
So I was telling her, because I've been running for like since high school.
Ever.
Yeah, forever.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and so I said what I really liked when, so I did the sample and they had the exercises, you know, they're very on point with what your muscles need, like the things that you need to be thinking about and working on. And she's like making sure, like, you're thinking about your core and your arms and stuff, because that is something, you know, that gets overlooked, or people that don't really know running, they like have you do exercises or stretches that aren't hitting those muscles that you really need to be like focused on. And so I was really impressed with that, because I've done a lot of other programs and they just, you know, you're doing stuff, you're like, this isn't stretching what I need to have stretched. This isn't doing what I want to have done, you know. And and I did that, the running portion. And so they gave you those different samples of the different parts. And I'm like, this definitely like can like boost your speed, you know,
right.
for people that want to like run a marathon or whatever, run a 10K, even, you know, like you can either increase distance or increase speed. You are never supposed to do both, right? This is a great way to increase your speed, you know, and then be able to get into your distance again. I don't know if that makes sense, but
right.
Definitely, like, I can see how you're going to be, you know, picking up the pace.
Does she talk about the different styles, like, of a training run? Like, do you do like tempo runs versus like, okay, so because I know for people who are new to it, because like I ran in high school, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I lived those types of different runs, because you can't just go run the same way every day, right? Like, it's not going to work. So she does go into the different types.
And she explains what they are and why you do them, and like,
and she even does
let me explain what that is and what it's going to do for you.
Right.
So is this for speed or for distance, or you can use it to do both?
Either or, it depends on the person. So like you have never run before, really? You're not, I mean, you've run, but you're not like a runner.
I am not a runner. I'm a swimmer. I got you in the pool though.
Yes, you do, because I hate that. Oh, we just need to find a biker and we have our little triathlon team. So with that, if you are looking, so like you're looking to start this, so you want to, maybe your goal is to like finish the 3 miles, because at the end, in order to get your actual medal, you really need to do a 5K. And it was really funny. They were like, this is where you have to submit your photos to the Beachbody Challenge or you're not getting your medal. So there's that. So in order to get your medal, you need to submit your photos and I think your time, I don't know, because I didn't pay attention because I got my medal. But you need to submit it to the challenge. So that's where a lot of the people who haven't been runners, they're like, so my goal is to do a 5K in under 45 minutes. My goal is to do a 5K without having to stop for walking. So you look at where you're starting and you set your own personal 5K goal, and that's it. So like my personal 5K goal was my eventual someday, which I never ever thought. And that's why I did mine on the treadmill, because I know mentally I quit on myself. Caitlin, you see that with my food pictures a lot these days. I quit on myself, and I know on a treadmill it's way harder to quit on myself than it is outside.
Okay, I guess the reason I was asking is because like a lot of this, it sounds like to be able to run a 5K. And
Correct.
So, like, no, I don't know off the top of my head any runner friends that I actually have, except for y'all who are here. But like, if I know people who are already running
Runners.
5K, like I get up every morning and run 3 miles, no big deal. It's just what I do.
It's for your stamina and for strengthening everything to make you a stronger runner, a faster runner, a more efficient runner.
It's like
I
when
think,
you do this,
yeah.
like when you do something like this, you go from, for example, like I used to run like a 5K and I'd run it like a 8-minute miles, right? And so this is something where, you can drop that significantly. So if I'm going like 8-minute miles, okay, I do the whole thing in a little over 24, I'm going to do it a little over like 21, so that's what you're doing. And then from there, if they say, oh, I do distance, well, they can build from there, and extend that time out to be able to do 7-minute miles for a 10K or whatever else. So it's like, it's,
Yeah,
so
we have
people get stuck, they do the same races and they're like, I'm always just getting the same time. At some point you need to work on your speed. And this is the way to do that for those people that are serious runners. If you want to get a PR, you need to work on your speed.
Yeah.
correct. And I have never in my entire life done it until the month of August, because that's the shitty part that's hard that you don't want to do. Like, no one wants to go to a track and sprint until you feel like you might vomit for a little bit and then walk a little and then do it again. No one wants to do that, but that's how you get faster.
Yeah, Usain Bolt, I watched his documentary, side note, and he goes, I hate training. I can't stand training. I don't want to train most days. But he had like 4 people, including his coach, like in his little circle. And he almost quit until a USA athlete was like, Usain Bolt's going to retire. Then started talking smack. And he goes, nope, we're coming back another year.
Yeah, that is hard.
It's a really good documentary to watch, like if you're into documentaries. But anyways, I know. But yeah,
like I had a friend in college that ran, and then she slipped on ice and had to have reconstructive knee surgery, and so she started walking on the treadmill, and like got her, and because she was like, I'm never allowed to run again. But she was able to like work at like kind of do these like the fartleks and the interval training by just varying her speed and her walk. Like she could walk almost at like a 4.8 miles per hour. And then like she'd have her slows down at like 3. Yeah, I mean, she was cranking it, but and then she changed like the elevation. That was the way she sometimes did her intensity. So there are ways to do that. Like if you do have some sort of medical where you're like, I have like my knees redone and I can't jog or stuff, you can still vary that walking and get yourself sweating. I think like Oprah always talked about how she only walked, but there's between walking and walking for exercise.
Ashley?
April, is that when the official?
I thought it was March 31st.
Okay.
That's an FAQ. I did find another thing I was
Well, just because what I was thinking is like, if people do try to throw out the very valid, but like, I don't run in the cold, I'll do it when it comes out. Yeah, but it's still kind of going to be cold then. You know what I mean? Like for a little bit, like at least. So like they could always have access to all these great stretches and these great lifting workouts, and they can, you know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm just trying to, because it's launching a little bit in mid-fall, you know, like just to try to encourage people, why wait, you know, get started kind of thing.
So things that they were talking about too, why it's better and different than a couch to 5K, because a couch to 5K is 9 weeks. This is 4 weeks. This training as well. These runs are only 20 minutes. And it is also it's a fat blasting workout, all of it, which I did see. Because I mean, like my biggest transformation from when I actually like started a month ago, a year ago, October 21st was my kicking my own butt date of starting my start anniversary, if you will. And I saw a lot of results with Morning Meltdown, but in these 30 days, I lost 5.5 inches off my waist, hips, and thighs, which is where all my weight still is. And I was like, oh, that's happening. And that's, you know, you need to run to lose the weight. So, Jessica, you have a question? You're on mute.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, I just put myself on. Yeah, I did the sample yesterday, and I you know, for those of you that know, I'm still trying to finish that Morning Meltdown, but I did the sample yesterday, and it worked out areas just even in that sample that I haven't had it worked out even in the Morning Meltdown, and it was like what 16 minutes I think of a run for that sample, and I was sore as if I ran a 10. Like, you know, a 6 miles, which I did last week. And I was like, oh, why am I so sore? But it's like, because those areas haven't been strengthened. I really loved it. And I felt like I was in track again, like training for track. So it was awesome. And I'm like one who's definitely going to get it.
When I think mindset, go ahead.
The apparel also launches on the 5th as well, because we're all like, when can we get the shirts? When can we buy the shirts? Where are they? So it's on then.
Motivated by clothing.
I can run for 20 minutes. I could do it.
Yeah. Well, and I think one thing that struck me was we have people on our team, like Brittany messaged me and she's like, here was my watch after doing a mile and some change, you know, on, let's just pretend it was Thursday. Here's one day later, I've already cut like almost 3 minutes off of my time. You know what I mean? Like, she's just like, obviously that's like an extreme thing, but like, she's like, I didn't die. Like, I can do this. And then I can do it again. And then I can do it again. And so I think that this could be a really huge confidence and like mindset buster for people who feel stuck.
And she says so often, you know, this is your time to break away from all of it. So that's what she uses, is the let's break away thing. And there's so many, March 22nd is when it comes into BOD. So I'm sure the sample will be on until it launches March 22nd.
Okay.
It is 7 days a week, but it's actually only 6 workouts because your day 7 is your rest and roll out.
Okay.
So there is that. All of our people in here in the group too, who are like hardcore runners, that's what and even our people who aren't hardcore runners, everyone is noticing. Like, I haven't seen many coaches at all in round 2 focus on, oh my God, look at me. Like, there was a girl who posted that she's, you know, wearing size 12s and she hasn't worn them since high school. So there's people recognizing those non-scale victories, but most of them are non-scale victories with, look at what I did on day 1, look at what I did day 1 of round 2, and just comparing pace and mileage. And that's what everyone's recognizing is, oh, it's so much different.
Because this is a total numbers game. Like, this is the epitome of a numbers game. Like, yeah, you're focused on your moves and your weights and your rep, like things like that. But like, you're able to tangibly compare, here's my run on October 5th. Mm-hmm. And here's my run on November 5th. You know what I mean? And like how that can match up. Yes.
So on the calendars, she does have you tracking. So it's not, and people were like, you don't have, because coming off of MBF with Megan's like, write down everything. This isn't like this. This is one of those like, write down your weights, but you don't really know. Like, there are days when I pull out everything from 5s to 35s because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, because there isn't you're doing this exercise and this exercise and this exercise. So you're using all the things, and she encourages you to go heavier, and she's, you know, a small, medium, heavy, but you don't really know what you need. So people were like, well, how do you make us, we need a weight sheet. And they're like, then make one. Make your own weight tracker sheet, because it depends on what you're doing. It's not the same exercises all the time. There's a couple different upper body ones. This is one where, unlike MBF, unlike Morning Meltdown, you will have the same workouts repeated a couple times. So yes, it was all filmed live. However, like week 1, you do the same upper body that you do week 2, but then there's a different one for week 3. So
Yeah. But you can track growth that way too, you know?
for sure. Yeah. So, on the lines, she has a line where you track you can write down your weights, and then you write down your mileage or your time.
Okay.
Even something like, because like halfway through, she tells you to turn around.
Yes.
And so what people will notice, like even if you just did the sample workout, you know, a couple times, you'll notice that turnaround point, if you're running the same space, that will be further than you went before. So
Yeah.
they'll continually, I like last time I only went to this tree, now I got, you know, another block or whatever further. So there'll be things that they can notice, you know, to help them notice they're getting faster without, you know, having to do a lot.
The early release, when is that again? It's
For us, it's the 5th. For the customers, it's the 19th.
of
October.
October.
that's right.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks from tomorrow.